lane, congratulations. You want to do it again? I have counter pick this time. So like, there's no reason not to ego pick, I feel like, if you're perks. So that's how I would do it if I was Cloud9. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Udyr and Olaf going to be high prize champions. We see the Renekton ban, as it feels like Cloud9 willing to first pick it, but not give away first pick themselves. And so we'll see what the rest of the draft looks like.
Interesting to see Cloud9 going to be able to actually get the Olaf. I just feel like for the last year and a half, pretty much anytime Blabber gets this champion, they just win, right? You know, and this happened last year in spring where he was playing Olaf a lot and he had 100% win rate on it, and people were eventually like, okay, you actually just cannot allow Blabber to play this champion or you lose. And it's kind of felt similarly this year as well. You know, when he did actually grab it, he has looked very dominant. He does have one loss on it this year, but one loss over the 2 years and some pretty incredible games is scary.
He's got a KDA of 7, and I'm looking at like Cloud9's overall ban stats. 77% of games, you ban Olaf against Cloud9. Second place is 31%. At Pantheon. It's like, it's actually always. You just aren't allowed to do this. But in this case, 100 Thieves say, no, we think Udyr is better. It is Fudge's, I would maybe say, strongest performing champion so far this year, so they take that one away. Sion going to be the last pick right here for Cloud9. Just, you know what, YOLO tank duty. They, in fact, do grab the blind Orianna as well, though, so both solos going to be grabbed up. They are against a very strong late game, though. Jinx can absolutely take over games with a Thresh Udyr to set up in frontline for her.
So double blind pick for the solo laners, but no parity in the selections here, right? You know, Cloud9 is going to be able to ban out any sort of picks that they're perhaps concerned about. You know, maybe feeling in this case as it's clearly not that kind of like 1v9 style champion that you were talking about, thinking perks would go towards. Maybe in this case, just feeling like, hey, this is actually Ryelma's best champion. You know, this is going to be what works for our composition. I do think that Orianna plus the Olaf is a really common composition. That's something that people really do enjoy, allowing the Olaf to have even more effectiveness towards the later stages of the game, shield him up, speed him up, and really allow him to get in there and get very, very effective in these team fights. The early Jinx should be exciting. As you say, Jinx is a champion who can scale incredibly well towards those later stages of the game. But that being said, in the early stages, especially, dealing with Olaf can be incredibly hard for Jinx, who doesn't have any sort of a dash. You're going to be relying on Thresh to reposition you with that Lantern to try to keep you safe if this guy is getting on top of you, because he can pop the ultimate and just run straight in. Senna feeling like it pairs incredibly well with that also. You know, the Senna to be able to ult over top, allowing these divers in the Sion and the Olaf to have more shielding, more additional damage coming across, and Tahm Kench is open. 100 Thieves aren't going to take Tahm Kench top, so you pretty much can guarantee that it's going to be Senna TK bot.
Just you wait.
Sorry, I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's not. It's just your Aatrox.
Okay, so Aatrox coming through. That is interesting. It's not really what I would call like a super dominant pick against the Sion. You know, I generally feel like if I'm playing a champion like Sion against Udyr or Aatrox, the only type of the game I'm worried at all is the early levels. If you get abused and you get behind early, then yes, the Aatrox can get to this point where Aatrox is just kind of out healing everything you're doing and maybe getting really aggressive. But as long as Fudge is not abused early on, you're going to get some levels under your belt, you're going to get some armor, and you're going to be just fine to just clear out waves over and over and over, and then look towards that team fight stage, where I do think it's going to be tougher for Aatrox to really have a lot of effectiveness. You know, you're going to have the Tahm Kench there to gobble up any carry that is in danger if you do find that flank, so it's going to have to be multiple angles that they are coming at you at. But that being said, 100 Thieves have incredible scaling, right? You essentially have 3 champions to get in front of the Jinx and the Azir, and the Jinx and the Azir to be able to burn people down on that Cloud9 side. So if they can't get to those later stages, get 3+ items, Olaf may have a lot of trouble, you know, really surviving when he's trying to fly into these team fights. And that's going to be kind of the threshold that 100 Thieves have to get over. If you can get over that hump to where Blabber can't just run in at you at a team fight without just dying, well, then team fighting, I think, becomes fairly hard for Cloud9 at that stage.
Yeah, and one of the nice things that works out here, you know, seeing that the Olaf is already grabbed by the time they pick the Jinx Thresh, is he's not going to stop you from lanterning, right? This isn't, you know, an Alistar Hecarim where if you do it right, you break the lantern apart and you get knocked back out and you're still meat. Olaf just like walks at you and then you lantern over to the map and you're like, oh, I guess, well, I'm still here. Let me run over with rockets flying at my face and it'll work out nicely. So yes, if the dual lane plays very well, if Realma continues to team fight well as he has been so far for 100 Thieves, This is a pretty good lineup for late game team fighting. The engage is not that strong, but we already know 100 Thieves reliably get the early dragons and stack them up. And we had 3 straight dragons in the last game. They just couldn't quite get over the hump with team fighting. We'll see if it changes here as Fudge on Cyan is a bit less of a flanker, more of a, straight up engage. We'll see what that one looks like as well and how dynamic Blabber and Co. can be as we're onto the Rift. Sven and Vulcan taking their turn to play Senna Tahm Kench, with Vulcan once again taking teleport on support, just like who he did last game.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that does go. I would also say, the biggest concern I think on the 100 Thieves side is just, does Blabber run over the early game? Because he has done it so many times on this champion. He is just an absolute freak at Olaf. He just seems to be able to get more done than really anyone else in the LCS, and it has been this way for a long time. 100 Thieves is also a team that has such good dragon control, such good objective control early, and that's how they create a lot of their win conditions, is by getting priority bottom lane. They have an incredible duo there, and then taking a lot of dragons. And it's actually C9 looking for a 5-man invade here early on. It will be spotted, and the sweeper does see that. So they're trying to set up a split map situation here, but it's pretty surprising to see that Fudge is also down here. He will be moving up towards top lane now, but definitely going to miss some XP. So they
Tri-Brush, though. They're going to fight 2-on-2 in the Tri-Brush. They're going to face check right into Thresh Jinx.
I think they know this.
Fight it.
Yeah, they know this. They moved Tahm Kench ahead of Senna. You can see on the minimap, Sven was actually ahead of Vulcan, and they just waited and rearranged it, so they would have to actually open up on the Tahm Kench. If they wanted to go for that, but yeah, some experience lost for Fudge, but they were really willing to go for that fight, potentially thinking that there could have been a stack waiting for it. From 100 Thieves, but bottom side pressure already going to be in the favor of Blabber here, and he's mid lane.
Flash Q looks for Ryoma. Of course, he was level 2 yet, so no way to get out, and either way, you learn Q regardless. So, a nice little temp there. Trade of flashes, had to burn it, but I think a nice play. And yeah, Olaf's able to get topside in time, right? He's able to get to the part where he can at least take his chickens away from what Closer would steal, but without a ward seeing Closer, he can still get right behind this Olaf. off. I don't know if they saw each other. I'm not sure. Blabber's going to leave. He's like, you know what? I got one camp. It's okay. I took two of yours, took one of mine. And we're out.
Yeah, he knows now they do have a ward on that red, so closer would have been 3, so it would have been a little bit dicey there for Blabber, who had no mana. I think that's one of the biggest problems if he wanted to try to take that fight. So we'll be just taking away that one from his side. It is going to be in a split map. This does mean Cloud9 are likely going to be the ones stacking dragons this time. Huhi with a swing and a miss on that.
Yeah,
play,
that's bold. He was
top.
predicting the juke, and now three v one top side. You know it's split map. You know Closer's top side. So Fudge, can he outplay this one? Waiting until Rayamo shows up as well for maximum damage. Flash the way as Closer pulls aggro. Jumps. Right back out, and the rest of the damage is going to come through. Rayamo took aggro, has 100 health left, and all he can do is wave clear and get some farm back on this. Champion.
It's interesting that Perks didn't actually match the TP. You know, I think they could have held that pretty easily had Perks just TP'd right when the Azir did. That's not the call they go for. This is the more risk-averse play, of course, but they're actually just going to TP right back to top, see if they can get anything done. Up here, Perks will get the shove and the reset, but of course, Fudge did go down. It's going to be more concerning if he dies again here, though. As he has no flash or teleport now, and this will get a little bit awkward.
Well, as Someday walks back in after the first taste of blood, keep in mind LCS has partner with the Blood Centers of America. If you've had COVID-19, we do need your plasma, so please donate and earn a KDA skin. But first, it's back in. It's time for second blood. We can bring it back up again, maybe. Fudge gonna try to stay alive as Perks now is here and Closer. Yeah, he's not long for the world. Fudge gets him back, and now is it enough for Someday? No, he's gonna get chased down, but is it enough for Perks though? Next cooldown's coming back soon, not enough damage. Someday gonna walk away 1 for 1.
Closer could have just walked away. You know, I think that's actually really bad for 100 Thieves because Someday has to leave, potentially. Here, okay, he's going to be able to come back and actually get that wave, so that's not as bad as I did originally think it was going to be. But when Perks TP's in, Someday was just looking to leave. Someday was back. backing off, and Perks is going to arrive, and Closer's trying to take that fight anyway.
Devour's down, apparently has to flash away, then get him back, and whew, just barely getting away with this one. Ram on the way down, though. A lot of early roams finally for the 100 Thieves mid laner, and getting some summoners out of Cloud9's bot lane.
Yeah, nice little bit of pressure there. They do get those 2 summoners, so we can watch this as the initial dive. Fudge, I think, played about as well as he could. He's not level 3 in this situation. The only thing to criticize here is if he actually let that Q go off a split second. Earlier, maybe could have got a bit more damage out, but I don't think it would hit the Azir either way. Now, this is the play I'm kind of more interested in talking about. It looks like a really great repeat gang. Perks does elect to TP on this one, but now look at Someday. He's saying, all right, we're leaving, right? We're leaving? Oh, we're not leaving? Closer. Is clearly committed to fighting that, and Someday just wanted to get out of there, right? You could have actually just walked up, threatened that gank, get the TP out and just back off, and then he just spent his TP for nothing, right? And that is one of those situations where very clearly the communication is not there between Someday and Closer, and this kind of has been a point of discussion about that 100 Thieves top side for a lot of the split. Of why don't they focus more on Someday, and some people are quick to say it's because Closer and Someday don't work well together.
Yep, they don't seem to. You know, no one yelled out, and that would have been Someday who would have done it, and or Closer wasn't loud enough to be like, we kill this guy, stay. Either way, it was different pages on that book, and yeah, it's a choose your own adventure that went very poorly for the 100 Thieves side. End of the day, it was still a 1-for-1. You know, they did clean up Fudge.
Yep.
And you know, you can see the top lane.
It's not horrible.
Yeah, same number of kills. CS within 4. They're okay, level lead right now, but just barely 6. On Someday, it's not the worst, but it is obviously a lead for topside, right? Someday is ahead here. The ganks have functionally paid off, but it's a split map. Blabber has been topside for most of it. He's going to be taking this Mountain Drake down. You kind of with expectation, you have Senatom Kench with lane pressure overall, and this should Be pretty safe.
Going to be able to grab that. Looks like no problem. Closer is playing up towards that top side. The other question is just like, you know, what do you get more out of, not just based on the gold, but also the champions, right? Because putting Sion behind, sure, it's nice, but Sion functions really no matter what. You know, he is a tough champion to make super useless, so, you know, I'm not sure that they're going to get as much out of this. Of course, it is actually Cloud9 that engaged this swap, though, so Blabber now coming in. They're going to look for their own dive.
They know who he's flashless, but Vulcan a bit too low, and maybe they're worried about warming the tower up too soon, so no dive going to happen. They knew there was no TP anywhere. They knew, I mean, I think they even saw Closer. No one was there to help. This was an obvious 3v2. Decided, no, this dive is not going to work. Let's not go for the play. We're out on this one as Fudge gets pushed around a little. Bit, yoinked back in, good damage. Yeah, someday we'll have a gold lead in this game. He's got maybe the most gold in the game. Right now with, you know, more or less highest CS plus the kill. Maybe this turns out that Aatrox can carry. We'll see if it happens on the other side, though. Rama goes to big play on the Perch, push them right into Closer. Perch does have flash, doesn't yet need to burn it as Closer's already there. Sorry, Blabber's already there, and just change. Chasing him down is big damage. Shockwave was already down, so no follow-up. Rama could save his flash.
Blabber, right place, right time to keep him safe there. As this should be gobbled up. A little bit slow there from Vulcan. Takes a bit more damage perhaps than needed, but you know, this is giving Jinx a free lane. So that is something that we also have to take into consideration. You know, 100 Thieves has put their pressure towards topside, towards getting someday ahead, and really Cloud9 and have on the other side of the map just got a dragon for it. The Jinx lane is going great for 100 Thieves, so they are looking pretty strong. Closer up here again to attack. Fudge and Blabber is on the Rift Herald,
Round
so
3. He's got dead. Flash. Flash done comes in. Flash out, though.
Okay.
You know you can trade Flash for Flash. You're not getting much out of that.
Yeah, nice. Done. Didn't actually realize his flash had come right back up. So able to get out of those infernal chains. The stun obviously not lasting long enough to yank him back. So Fudge does survive, and Blabber actually gets the topside objective as well. Is going to move up towards his own red buff after taking away closers. So we'll see where he wants to go with this Rift Herald. If it will be, to try to get Fudge back in it, if it's going to be more of a focus on perks, more what we saw last game. From them. But I expect Cloud9 to continue to try to stack these dragons, and it's going to be more up to 100 Thieves to try to choose when they want to try to contest it, right? It's kind of the role reversal from the previous game.
All right, plate number 2 easily taken. Number 3 not far away either, but keep in mind, as you mentioned a second ago, Blabber has the first Rift Herald. That's going to mean at least 2 plates in the lane of his choosing to answer back on the pressure top side. Taking a recall, maybe on a ward, but doesn't really have to matter here, so I'm not going to stop him. It's just someday stacking up and trying to be the primary carry. You can see his first recall gave him a cull. He is really trying to be the big force in this game, to go kind of alongside and complement the Jinx that and as you mentioned as well, free farming 76 CS on Jinx, pretty solid here, right? Highest in the game right now. This will be matched by the Tahm Kench, sure. But it's still good income.
Yeah, exactly. I think Vulcan also has done a pretty good job farming, but Jinx is one of the champions that's tougher to get through that lane phase. Sometimes as Fuhi going in.
Yeah, not in flay range though. Not going to find the root on Zen's side either, but decent damage on a Hui, earns him 60 gold. And a soul, worth about 35 itself, and that's still going to feel pretty reasonable as they're knocking down waves back and forth. Free farming Jinx, we'll see when that comes. To matter. Early boots too, I actually like quite a lot. I think it's very, very good on a champion like Jinx, who doesn't have any of their movement spills. As Blabber gets the Gromp, sets up the blue, hands it off to Perk. And there you go, the pickup, no problem.
I'm going to be interested to see what the mythic purchase is here from Jinx. Some players really do like Gale Force, again for a similar reason, because you don't actually have those movement speed abilities to be able to dodge out from skill shots, dodge away, from engages. But of course, Sion is going to be a problem. Tahm Kench is going to be a problem. They're going to be very tanky too. Nice shockwave.
Big shockwave, but Remo holds the E knows, look, you can't one-shot me. It's not going to be enough damage. Blabber can't interrupt. We'll jump back after this one goes down, and the Herald's going to be summoned just to start with plate number 1 on mid lane. So just to give 100 gold or so, Vulcan, is he going to walk into range? Or Sven? Okay, they are going to let the gold go to just Perks and Blabber. Not showing it any further ways, but it just means 2 and a fraction of a plate knocked down in mid. That's it.
Yeah, gold very even. At this point. And of course, the other option for the Jinx to return to that is just the Kraken Slayer. You know, the additional DPS to be able to actually knock down the Scion. I don't think we would see Shield Bow. To me, that really wouldn't make sense.
Can't be anymore.
Of course, yeah, with the pickaxe coming through, definitely will not be. The case, so I'm going to be interested to see that choice. I think in Pro, you know, we would be more likely to actually see Gale Force just because Pro was generally really prioritize movement abilities and the ability to outplay with that.
Sure, yeah. I'm going to bet Kraken just because I think he's sees 2.5 tanks,
Scion,
counting
Olaf,
Blabber as half.
Kench,
yeah. And it's like, you know what? This is a Kraken
like
Hurricane game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, this is what my build is. Perks might get scooped. No, he's not in range, and Ryoma has to burn Flash, but be careful. Could still be attacked. Has Lantern. If he wanted to quit the Flash to get the scoop, that would have worked, but yeah, nice job by Perks to walk just fast enough to get away. Could find boots 2 for Perks, means he can out. Run him, and was able to make that one happen. So second Dragon now on the plate. Ryoma clearly not able to fight anymore. Means there is no contest. This is going over.
And this is one of those problems
Rocket.
where I think sometimes
Jinx
as
Rocket?
a player, you just have to choose really carefully. Are you going to fully commit to a play? Or not commit, right? And he kind of chose halfway through. He committed the ulti, but not the flash. And then because the ulti didn't hit and he's taking return fire, he then has to flash away, right? So it would have actually just been much better to either just not go for it at all or probably flash and commit towards that, guaranteeing the ulti would scoop. Perks and try to make something happen from it.
Yeah. I think a mistake there from FBI. There's no reason not to Jinx Rocket there. You're not looking for an all-in anytime soon. There's no other objectives coming up. after the next 2 minutes, you might as well toss it out there and get a decent chance at taking that dragon away. It's Olaf. He's in melee range. He's going to give you the splash. It was on a ward. Minor missed opportunity, but you never know. Maybe we go to the part where it's going to be a Dragon Soul fight and there's a chance one got stolen away. Either way, not a huge deal. Bot lane being pushed in, about to find their first plate for Vulcan and Sven. That hook's not going to be much. There's no way you've got go past that one and take Senna. Damage. Blabber going for a second red steal. Gets it. Nice shockwave on a closer. Flashless. And he's going to flash to follow, but he can't get far enough up. Oh, Blabber, a heartbreaker, but a good escape for Closer all the same.
Yeah, that was really close to getting on the right side there. Closer just now getting his flashback, so he would have been dead to rights if Blabber could have got to the other side of that. And Blabber has just been relentless with these red buffs. I mean, he started red buff. He's stolen 2 away at least since the beginning of the game. So I think he's actually
literally all of them
on opposing red buffs. I don't think that Closer has gotten any of them. Except for the one he stole from Cloud9 at the beginning of the game. So Blabber, farming well. But that being said, it's not as though Blabber has gotten a million kills and gotten way out ahead. I'm going to be curious, though, how this next fight looks like in 3.5 minutes, because Cloud9 got the first 2 dragons. I think 100 Thieves will want to contest at that next one. And Blabber does have the Gore Drinker. He's going to be ready to go. A lot of these mythic completions are going to be coming through, and we'll just have to kind of evaluate how strong those teams are in 3 minutes when that spawns.
On Rift again as the champions move around the map. Cloud9 sending their duo towards the top side. I love this, by the way. Smart by Sven. I know a lot of players will be doing this, but, when you got nothing to do in a lane, just follow your jungler around for a second, get a couple of souls from the camps he's taking. It's, as good of soul income as going to a lane in the first place. You're, in fact, letting the Tom Kench get some solo XP, which can be pretty good as well. And yeah, still stacking up, so Sven helping put the wards down. Of course, you can't really ward anything from top lane, so fall around, do that kind of stuff. Now Ryoma in a scuffle with Perks. Bit of damage back and forth. Blue buff on the Azir means infinite mana. and ultimately just going to wave clear back, so no fight to be had.
Yep, I like the Leandri's choice here from Ryoma. You're going to be hitting front line pretty much the entire time, you would think. And having that burn is going to be fairly effective here. It could go into just a kind of a pure anti-tank build, I think. And be fairly effective. You know, didn't pit stop for any defensive items or anything like that, which I think is important. You know, there's so much of a reliance on this here on this Jinx to be able to get through that front line in a reasonable amount of time, because that is what so many of these team fights are going to depend upon. So building correctly, I think, in this game.
Alrighty. Herald summon to finish mid lane. They didn't auto-attack this thing almost at all for most of the game. Herald number 1 and Herald number 2. Cloud9's like, how do we get rid of mid? I don't know. It's Azir. It's not going to happen. 2 Heralds at it. That'll do it. And 2 Heralds. Heralds indeed it is. First turret goes mid, and that's objective control. That's just good play, honestly. Well done. FBI finally takes the lantern back, tries to trade back, but careful. And the lashes are slow, and
Closer's coming, though.
sidesteps. Closer's here again. Flash follow hook. Oh, it nearly landed. Zen and Flash. The way Vulcan knew he could run fast enough.
Yeah, just barely not able to connect there. That one could have been pretty big. Closer pressing, but Cloud9 have just done dominated the neutral games. The fact that they actually did a split map, got all the dragons, all the heralds. FBI will be able to grab gold here from this. Tower should be able to knock that one down, no problem. For Cloud9 already down on that bot side, looking to set up, and Blabber heading over here towards Someday. So some definitely needs to back
Fudge!
it up.
The guy's 400 health left. Fudge! Fudge! Are you gonna solo kill an Aatrox? You nearly did. You're 1 and 2. You're not. Allowed to do this. Hey, Someday. Hey, Someday. That's an axe. Oh, that's a dash. Second axe. Senna?